we're back to my top 100 games of all time. Here we go. And boy, do I have a crazy list for you today. First off, at number 7, game I've had in my collection for a long time. Never once has it been my top 100, but this year I've played it probably 100 times. So if you play Tumble and Dice 100 times, I think it deserves to be in your top 100. Now, the thing is, I've always had fun with this game. We've always played it like, 15, 20 times. But I brought this down to the beach, our beach trip, and I lost count of the number of times we played this. Honestly, it could have been over 100. We played so many games every day, every night, and it was just so much fun. My brother, who never plays board games or any kind of games, he liked this one. And so he played that one. And we would be yelling, screaming, laughing. It's so much fun. It is kind of expensive to get a copy. I understand that. Eagle Griffin Games kind of puts theirs on sale a little bit, but I was able to get a coupon too and get it for super duper cheap one Black Friday. This is probably my last great Black Friday deal I ever got a few years back. I don't really see that many good deals for board games I'm interested in anymore. But I got this one on Black Friday. I've never looked back. It's so awesome. And woodwork class in their high school, my nephews made their own copy of this game. That's what they did for their woodwork assignment. And I was kind of impressed because he had to borrow mine to kind of get the measurements and then make his own. And so they made their own Tumble and Dice board, which I thought was so cool. And Tumble and Dice is well worth it, man. It's so much fun. It is so much fun. And like I said, it's always been on the outside looking in. It's always been right outside my top 100. But this year, I just knew after playing it for so long this summer, I said, yeah, this is a top 100 game. Tumble and Dice, excellent game. Number 69, Virginia Gigli is back. This is one that everyone knows and a lot of people love. This is Lorenzo Il Magnifico. I don't think he's the only creator on this one. I can't find it on my shelves. It's somewhere here. This is a great game. And it's so funny because whenever I looked at the gameplay of this game, I was never interested. I was like, oh, this sucks. And then they had what I guess is the big box version where it had everything in there. And I told my buddy, I said, is it really that good of a game? He said, yeah, I think you'll like it. It's like, okay. So I pulled the trigger on it because it was cheap and tried it out. And yes, it's wonderful. I don't know why it didn't translate to me watching the gameplays how the game is, but you really should play the game to figure it out because it's so much fun. It's so much fun. There's so much going on, so much strategy involved. A lot of people already know this game. This is a kind of popular game. And it's a game, again, I keep saying this, right up my alley, though. I mean, I just love these type of games here. And I'm glad I like one that a lot of people also like in the board game community, because usually I like the games that no one's ever heard of or people don't remember anymore. So that's a great one. And it's gone up a lot since the last one. In fact, let me just check my little cheat sheet. Oh, yeah. Last year was the first time I had it, so it's moved up greatly. So it may keep moving up the list the more I play it. And I do play it a lot. This next one has been in my list, on my collection forever. It's always been a top 100 game. Pop Apollo. It's so much fun. A pizza delivery game. You're basically engine building on your own player board. You're doing bids. There's some area majority in there. There's a little bit of everything. You're taking actions or building tile placement is in this too. It has everything, and it's so thematic and it's so realistic. Buy a used copy though, because there's a lot of daggum stickers. For every little wooden piece, they put a sticker on it, and that'll take you a whole day just to do that. But other than that, this is a fantastic. I see this game for on sale. You can get it secondhand for still a pretty good price. And it's excellent. It is excellent. I've always wanted a pizza delivery game, but this one just delivers in spades, man. It is just a beautiful game to play, and one that I bring out quite frequently, which is why it's in my top 100. All right, number 67 is a game I've had in my collection. One of another favorite designer of mine, even though I don't know his last name, Benjamin Bagaga, Crown of Emora. This is one that everyone likes, I think. A lot of people know this one. There's another one not too far off. It's coming up soon, but I usually get a lot of his games. Not all of them. He makes a lot of children's games. I don't have many of the, I think Livingstone is maybe a family game. Maybe I consider it an adult game, but I don't have any of his Haba stuff and whatnot. But boy, when you make a double rondelle, you've got me right then and there. Where one's gathering raw resources, the next one's converting those into victory points, whether it be citizens or houses, and the lowest of those two scores is your final score. I love that too. This game is really slick. This is one of those games that when it's over, you want one more round. You want two more rounds. And that tells you that's a really good game there. A game that hasn't gotten old for me is Crown of Emora. And I don't know. I need to look and see if he's been working on anything recently. I haven't heard about him working on anything recently. But if ever his name is involved, I am listening. I am listening to that guy because I think he is a fantastic designer. And a lot of his games sing to me. And you'll see that in just a minute. But first, a little break here. There is a game. There's a channel that I watch here on YouTube called Jeremy Reviews It. Now, he doesn't do many board game reviews. In fact, I think he does maybe a handful, 2 or 3 videos a year. But whenever he does this is what I got this year. This is what I've been playing this year. I swear there's always a good handful of games that me and him just see the same on eye to eye on things when it comes to board games. And he was the one that showed me Monasterium. I truly thought this would be the next big greatest thing when I got it in. Polished wood bits, so awesome because you're trying to put monks and get area control in either the courtyard, outer courtyard, or the sanctuary. The faster you can achieve certain goals is dice placement, which is always fun. And you're moving your cart down, trying to achieve certain goals earlier in the game rather than later, because the earlier you do it, the more victory points you get. And I even got the little mini expansion that came with it, the market stalls, which I love. I'll never play without it because it gives you just extra bonus material just to kind of help you out in achieving more of these goals, because it is really hard. It's really hard to achieve some of those in-game points there. But the game is just so much fun. It's like I said again, a beautiful game. And every time we bring it out, it's just I don't know. I just love the game. I feel at peace. This is kind of weird to say this, but I'm like, we're playing Monasterium. And that's when you got a good game, right? It's like snuggling up to a good book for readers, I guess, But I love when it's raining. Man, I want to read a book. It's been raining all day today, and I've been wanting to read a book, but I got to do these videos instead because I want to. But I do have a book right here next to me, though, just in case in between filmings here. But anyway, Monasterium. I don't have anything else to say about it. I'm just kind of shocked it never took off the way I did. Well, I shouldn't be. I shouldn't be anymore. Because here's the thing. Every time I think about the game being the next great thing, it usually isn't, because I love it. And if I love it, it's probably not going to be loved with anyone else. Now, that's not true with number 65, which has been in my collection for a long time, and that's Sagrada. Woo! Sagrada. Man, you talk about the king of being wrong. I mocked Sagrada when it first came out. I looked at it. I was like, oh, what a stupid game. Who would want to play that? And then I was at, I can't remember, the Phoenix Game Fair or whatever one year. Arizona Game Fair, I think is what it's called, in Phoenix. And I checked it out with a few people, and we played it. I was like, I don't really want to play it, but let's go. And we played it, and I was like, oh, wow, this is incredible. And every expansion, I would say, except for the last one. I don't think the last one is that good. I'll play with it, but I don't really need that one. The other ones, I would say go ahead and get, because I think they're very smart and they're very good. And I don't hunt down all the little the little card slips for players. I don't think that's that important. But as games go, this one is really smart. In fact, it doesn't feel clunky with most of the expansions in it. The last one, it just feels repetitive to me. Not clunky, but repetitive. So, but all of them, putting all of them together, which is how I've been playing the game for years now, it just makes the game more fun because there's tons more options on things you can do to complete your window. And still people can't complete their full window there. And the game is, simple. Don't match two colors together. Don't match two, pit values together. That's truly kind of it. But there's so many ways to manipulate the die and to get things done, especially after some of the expansions. It's so much fun. And this is a game that I was dead wrong on when it came out, and I regretted mocking it. I know they have like a big box now, and they have a write and roll or whatever, which I'm not interested in. And then they have some kind of legacy game. I haven't looked into it yet. So I'm not like, gung-ho for anything with Sagrada's name on it yet. But for the base game and its expansions, 2 thumbs up. Excellent. Now to go back to Benjamin and one of his best games that's on my list. So one of his newest ones is Hadara. Hadara, in fact, I think what happened when I reviewed Crown of Amara and Livingstone. No. I did one of my top 100s. And I said, these are just great games. I said, you know who that designer is, right? And he did these other ones too. And they told me about Hadara, and I instantly bought it. And yeah, it's good. You're basically, everyone's going around, in circles, picking up a card, and you have a decision. Do you buy it or do you sell it? Now, you sell it for a lot cheaper, but money is super tight in the game. And you're going up these tracks. Food, because you got to feed your people. If you can't feed your people, you're going to lose cards. You need money, of course, for the auctions and stuff. And then you need resources. You need, I can't remember what they are, red and blue resources. Red for raiding buildings, blue for building statues, which can give you big victory points in the game. So all 4 of these tracks are extremely important, but you cannot, go up all of them. So like I didn't get a single statue, but my red track was high. And this one was vice versa. They had the blue track up really high, but couldn't get the red one. And there's purple cards too that kind of benefit like all of the tracks there. You're trying to get a good balance because that's where you get some big victory points at the end if you have a lot of diverse cards in your list here. But the game overall is just super smart. Again, this is why I said, oh yeah, this is one of my favorite designers here. I wish I knew how to say his last name. But this game, Hadara, is just solid. I've gotten all the little extra content that comes with it. It's not necessary for the game. There are these ones, it's like these big 25-point ones. There's no way we've ever gotten those. I don't know. I'm sure there's a way to get them, but we're just not that smart players as we've been playing it. But it is just a phenomenal game. So Hadara, my number 64. 63 is a new game to my collection, even though it's a game that's been out for years now. It's Murano. I bought this year, and what was I thinking? What was I thinking not getting this earlier? It's the whole board is just one giant rondelles. You're moving your gondola around and getting points, getting resources, building buildings and stuff like that. And it's just perfect. When I played this for the first time, I was like, why did I not think about this game earlier? I'd always just pass it up and say, I'll look at it later. And then I'd forget about it for a year or so. And now I finally got it. I think it was on sale, which is what kind of prompted me to say, oh, yeah, I need to look into that game. And when I brought it in, I was like, yes. Also, I've never lost at it yet. I say, yeah, we did play it after my review. We played a couple more times. That's why I knew automatically it was going to be a top 100 game. And but it was close. The last game was really close. So my game group's going to catch up with me on that one. But Murano, again, this is a game that probably everyone but me knew about. I mean, I had played, I guess, and had an opinion on. I had not played this before. And there's a lot of new games to me that are like this. When I say it's new, I mean it's like a game I've never played before, which could be any game in the past 20 years or longer, possibly. I think there's one that's been longer that's been out there that just made my list this year. But rediscovering these games for the first time has been wonderful because I have games like Murano in my collection, and games like Murano are excellent. All right, number 62 is a very hard to find game, and I hate that. This one needs a reprint, and it is Diamonds Club. Ooh, Diamonds Club, where you're at the very beginning, you're trying to place money in certain spots, and you want to be the first one there because you only place one coin, but you have to place an additional coin for every orthogonally captured tile before that or claimed tile before that. So it gets more expensive as the game goes on. But whoever has the most money at the end can get a coin. Whoever's passes or has so many top hats gets another diamond, which is a miscellaneous resource, which is really good. So you got to keep that in mind too as you're grabbing up things like contracts, ships, and gem things, because you're trying to ship these gems to you. And you want big contracts and big ships, but those can go pretty fast too. And then with those gems, you're buying things. Now, everyone's player board has different objectives at first. And then after that, it's whatever you want to do to win. You can build multiple of the same type of building and get victory points. You can go for just a spread of everything and get big victory points. You can go for the wildlife trilogy. If you get a fishing pond, a deer hunt, a meadow, and an aviary, I guess, for birds. If you have all three of those will give you big victory points in the game. That's actually how I won the last game, because I found out no one was going for those. And they give you small victory points individually, but when you get a whole set, you get some bonus points. And woo-hoo-hoo, I took off getting sets because no one else is claiming them. And then you can just go for trees. Trees, yes, it's the easiest thing to get. And if you move, you have these three player tracks you can move up to get better resources or more victory points. In this case, you get victory points on trees. And so I've seen people, jack their tree victory point thing to the max and just load up with trees, and they've won the game that way, if they can pull it off. Because there's just, and I love games with more than one strategy, more than one path to victory, and it has it. And the game is so hard to get, so expensive. Someone please reprint this game so that the masses can enjoy it, because this is just a wonderful, wonderful game. All right, finally, let's go with Queen Games for my 61 here, and it is Ektorp. I can't help it. I think Ektorp has always been, let me check, and it's 61 again on my list, but I think it's always been in my top 100. Yeah, it's always been in my top 100. This is kind of low for it too. This was the only Viking game I had for years because I didn't think I needed anything else. I do have other Viking games now, but I love this little game. Doesn't have any queenies, doesn't need them either, because you're basically, there's like 6 areas. You're putting up your player board to say how many of your Vikings are going to each area. If there's enough resources there to split between all the Vikings, you're fine, but there never is enough. And so you're usually going to have to battle. And when you battle, you're just playing cards, and the high card wins, but you have to switch those cards with that player. And so when they run out of all their cards, they pick up the cards that they got. So whether they won a lot of battles or lost every battle, they should have a better deck. But what if you get a bunch of loser, you won every one of your battles. Now you have only 1s and 2s and maybe a 3 in your hand. Oh, no, now you're going to lose the next battle, right? No, because you have these little Thor tokens that they're one-time only uses. They're worth a few measly points at the end of the game, but everyone just cashes them in. It lets you discard your hand and draw 4 from the deck. Now, they may be just as bad, or they may be better. But the thing is, though, no one will know, and they will fear you. Some people don't go to battle with other people like, no, I know you have one of those 6s. I don't want to get involved with you. But that's just the first round. After the first round, then the game just explodes with choices, because now when other people bring home bricks, you can steal from those other fortresses. And there's 3 different ways you can go about stealing it too. And then also you need to think about defending your own fortress. And then, of course, you always have Vikings that are injured every round. After the first round, you have Vikings that are injured and aren't coming back for 1, 2, 3 rounds. So you're having to mitigate where you want to put your Vikings. And as you get bigger, as you're about to end the game with all, the completed fortress, you start putting more people in your fortress to defend it, because you're going to have to have several attacks, because people don't want you to finish it, because you get a big bonus if you're the first one to finish. It doesn't mean you win, though, because I got finished first, but I used all like grass, and I can't remember what the second resource is, like wood. And someone else used wood was their lowest one. They had no grass bricks, and they had a lot of good stone and sand, and they beat me. Even though I had a completed fortress, they beat me there. So the whole, building that house out of straw real quick didn't work for this little piggy. But the game is wonderful, and it's a super cheap game to get. So it's definitely worth your time. But I love Ektorp, another great game from Queen Games. Hey, folks, that's it for now. But don't worry, I am going into my top 60 next time. See you then.